From a flightless simulator at Ferris Air to a momentous meeting in an alley, to the complex mind of an architect, to every far sector in space, and to the brilliance of the central power battery on Oa. This is the podcast that covers the adventures of all of your favorite ring slingers. This is the Emerald Echo with your hosts, Adam and the Emerald Enthusiast.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Emerald Echo, a Green Lantern podcast. As always, I'm your host Adam, and with me is my co-host, the Emerald Enthusiast himself, Donnie. Donnie, how's it going?
What's up, everyone? It's the man whose ring runs on fanboy energy. It's the Emerald Enthusiast, back with another episode of the Emerald Echo. We're going to catch up on 6 issues of Green Lantern Corps today. We're going to go through them kind of quickly. We're going to hit the bullet points to get you caught up, and hopefully we won't get behind anymore. But we've had so much this year with the show, with the news about the show, the animated series, and the Green Lantern titles, that we got a little behind on this book, so we're going to catch up today.
And we had GL June, so yeah.
And we had GL June as well. So we've been busy. We've given you plenty of content, but we've let this slide a little bit, and we're going to get caught up right now.
Yeah, then we got to catch up on Absolute Green Lantern. Yeah, that's
right.
Another one we're behind on.
Yeah.
But anyway, right now it's GL Corps, and we're doing issues 13 through 18.
Yeah, we're going to start with issue number 13. This is the end of an arc.
We're starting in order, in case anybody wonders. We don't do things backwards here. This is not the Bizarro cast. God help us all, if that was a thing. But anyway, so let's get right into it. Green Lantern 13.
Okay, so the big story points here. This is the end of the arc with Enquar, the water villain, attacking Oa. By the way, I love the rainy art all the way through this. I thought that looked great.
Yeah.
Remember, Enquar's working with Fatality. She seemed to have mixed feelings, and when the time comes, and Enquar seems to be drowning John Stewart, which, by the way, I don't exactly understand how that works, because a Green Lantern ring is supposed to protect the wearer in like any kind of environment. Nonetheless, John's getting drowned, and you see that Fatality, Yira, turns on Enquar, and she joins the Indigo tribe in this issue.
Yeah. I was confused about the whole drowning thing, too. I'm like, wait a minute. Shouldn't the ring be doing something here?
Right, yeah, exactly. I thought,
can you fire a ring? Because it's not doing his job.
I mean, him being trapped by Enquar, I got that, but like it really, like, the art suggests that like he's drowning, and I'm like, he shouldn't be drowning.
Right, yeah.
Again, unless there's something very special about Enquar's DNA. I meant to ask Morgan Hampton the other night, because I watched the Lanterns Live, the Lanterns Live with Morgan Hampton.
Cool, that's awesome. I didn't know that was...
Yeah, Morgan Hampton seems like a great guy. He was a lot of fun to listen to, but I was also half asleep. It was the end of my work week, and I was running on fumes.
Fair enough.
So,
so I was confused by that, but we'll see.
So anyway, Fatality joins the Indigo tribe in this issue, and she helps turn the tide. At the end, she refuses to kill Enquar with her new abilities, and she ends up basically turning him into this kind of water ball necklace, which is a phrase I never thought I'd say in my life. Right. But that's what it is.
I think John said something to the effect, so you're just going to keep him on you at all times now?
And she's like, until,
for now, yeah.
For now, and her hopes is that the exposure to compassion changes him from the like revenge fueled villain that he is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very hopeful thought process. Maybe she's wearing the wrong ring. But hey, she's got some extra jewelry out of it. So the universe is safe. So hey.
Over the years, we haven't always got to know Fatality, because all we've known is the being that wants revenge on the Green Lantern Corps. This shows us a Fatality that has done some emotional growth, has put that behind her,
Right.
and is now willing to move forward with the person that she is.
And it makes sense that she would believe in the idea that an entity could change because she's apparently done it herself.
Right.
So there's experience there. It was a weird, move, but it makes sense in a strange way.
Well, and it's like I said to Ralph the other night, the biggest thrill for me reading this run has been to see Green Lantern characters from all different eras interacting with one another.
You mean you just don't want to see Hal all the time like some people? Oh,
yeah, I mean, but you think about, seeing Kat Matui side by side with Saronic Natu, seeing Effigy in the same book as Kat Matui, and it's amazing to see all of these characters from different eras and how they now relate to one another.
It's almost like the Green Lantern mythology revolves around more than one character named Hal Jordan. Who would have thought?
Yeah, well, and then again, this doesn't have Kyle or Hal in it because they're off in their own book, and in many ways, this is kind of the opposite of that book, which is very kind of character driven and driven on those, and the storyline is following those two characters and developing their personalities. This is very fast paced, and it has a lot of characters in it.
Yeah, this is essentially a space cop procedural, and we're following the Space Sector 2814, or not, whatever. No, I guess, well, sort of. It has members of that group in
right.
there. But anyway, we're following the precinct, whatever.
Most of it is set on Oa, the new Oa, by the way.
Yeah, we're following the precinct, the Owen precinct,
And this also ends with the emotional entities, by the way, as babies, and that becomes another big storyline here. The emotional entities as babies showing up to Guy Gardner.
Now,
and he's like,
Donnie,
why are you all babies?
Now, Donnie, how badly do you want, plushy figures of all those entities? Because as I was reading, I'm like, Donnie would buy figures of these.
If Mattel produced a box set of all those entities, I would buy it. Babies or fully grown, I'd buy them all.
But would you buy, if they were plushies, is my question.
Of course.
Okay.
I'd hang them from the ceiling in here.
As I was reading, I'm like, Donnie would buy plushies of these.
I would hang them from the ceiling, of course.
But yeah, Guy's reaction was also priceless. And the other thing I thought, Donnie, when Fatality, put what was the villain's name? I can't pronounce
Inquire.
it.
Inquire.
When she put him in the necklace, I thought, if Donnie was a Green Lantern, he'd put the villain in a necklace and give the necklace as a gift to his wife. That's what my thought process was. I thought that would be,
I'd have to make sure it wouldn't break out. I wouldn't want to leave her alone with Inquire.
Yeah, I don't know, but I could see Donnie, that would be something. I could see Donnie pulling that move. But yeah, they were babies, and it definitely leads into the next arc.
And I might put Sam Bennett in a science cell, but that's a different podcast.
Put the entire Florida Panther team in a science cell. Yeah.
That's right.
Throw them into the sun, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so issue number 14, we see that and again, this is also tied into DCKO. The emotional entities died and were reborn, and now they're connected to Guy's mind. And Guy, at this point, becomes the all-sight. If you've seen any images of Guy wearing the robes with the huge Green Lantern logo on the front, he is now, in a way, kind of like...
He looks like a priest.
Right. In some way, kind of like Kyle as the White Lantern, when Kyle combined all the entities.
Right, but
he was the
Kyle
White
did look like a priest.
Yes.
Guy looks like a priest.
Right now, it looks like he's ready for choir practice. So.
He looks, what he reminds me of? Robin Hood, or what is it, Friar Tuck?
Friar Tuck, yeah, I love
That's
Friar
what he
Tuck.
reminds me of, but a slimmer version, because Friar Tuck, from what I remember, was quite hefty.
With more hair, not just...
Well, we'll get to that, but a part of him has more hair. We'll see a version of him that...
Well, yeah, and that's true too. Yeah, man, I love that scene. Anyway, but we'll get there in just a moment. Also, I want to point out, if you're unsure about why you see all these characters interacting and Green Lantern's allied with so many villains from the past, right now they are sharing Oa, and there's actually a map in this issue, and it gives you a breakdown of where all the different cores are.
Yeah.
And I looked at that as very kind of meaningful as if you would like look at the human psyche and the different emotions existing together with kind of will being in the middle and these other emotions orbiting your will, which kind of controls all of the others. That's kind of what I took from this one image of will being the thing that governs the others and keeps them in control. And they all exist together, though, because we all have a full range of emotions. None of us are, one emotion. Even if you're in an emotional state, you're still a complex being of complex emotions. Do you see what I'm getting at?
I see what you're getting at, and I've gone through many of those complex emotions in the span of 3 hours watching the Leafs. But that's all, again.
Oh boy!
I want to sue the Blue Lanterns because blue being hope. I don't buy that BS. They haven't gone what I've gone through. I don't buy that BS.
So John takes Katma, by the way, who's going through a lot of emotional trauma.
Speaking of emotions,
takes her to some great art there. Takes her to New Koregar, where they find a Parallax-possessed Saronic Natu.
Yeah.
And again, this exciting for me to see Katma Tui, Saronic Natu, Parallax, and John Stewart all interacting together.
It's been a while since I've seen Saronic.
A lot of people wanted to see her come back.
I can't remember the last time I've seen her. It's been a little bit.
Very, very interesting character. I'm still one of my most shocking moments as a Green Lantern fan was when she branded Kyle.
Yeah.
When she learned about Sarko, when she did the autopsy, she was not happy.
I think she was when that moment happened. I'm like, man, she must have been hanging around.
Terry Funk.
No, what's her name? Allison Mack from Smallville, and I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's an interesting.
So John ends up letting Parallax possess him in an effort to control and kind of direct Parallax, and that was the final image of this issue. And he even says that here, that just guiding it, putting fear in the places that it needs to go, and not trying to cancel it out. And again, I'm looking at this as emotions are, even things like fear and rage, as we think of as negative emotions, they still have their place.
Of course they have their purpose. And also, I mean, I don't think anybody in life is really fearless. There's got to be something that you're afraid of. And the same thing with rage. I mean, most people are calm, well-adjusted for, throughout 90% of their, or 98% of their day. But there are times where, hey, listen, some things or some people rub you the wrong way and you just burst, right? I mean, these emotions happen to the best of us, and like, I like that sentiment of like, you just gotta direct it in the right place, instead of just suppress it and try and cancel it out.
Right.
So
well, and again, fear can paralyze you, but at the same time, if there's a train coming down the tracks, fear is what stops you from just stepping onto the tracks.
If somebody has a gun pointed at you, it's a good idea to be afraid and give them what they want and just move on.
Right.
I don't know.
So, issue number 15, I really like this issue as well. John fights against Parallax's control, and in kind of this memory dreamscape, he has memories of his abusive father, and then the essence version that lives in his ring of Shirley Stewart shows up and protects him as a boy.
It's pretty interesting, though. I mean, we'll get to Guy in a second, a little bit, but in a way, John and Guy both had like abusive upbringings. So, I mean, and like what I liked about this issue was for as structured, rational, and composed as John always seems, to see him this emotional, this broken down.
Right. Well, and to be abused as a child, though, when you're still, weak in life,
Right.
and
Well, not even just the abusive parts of the issue, but more about the parts of his feeling of failing his loved ones for not being there, when they or being in his mind the cause of their death in the case of his sister, or not being there when his mother passed. Right.
And I love the line that she said. It's a very telling line about, I think, how a parent would often feel about a child. She said, "I loved you for everything you achieved," and this is not exact, based on memory. "I love you for everything you achieved and everything you failed at. I just love you for who you are."
Yeah.
That actually almost brought a tear to my eye. I'm like, that's some good writing right there.
It was great stuff, but also, as the charge in his ring is dying down, it's almost, and as the sort of the construct, the facsimile of his mother starts to
Dissipate, yes.
He has to finally let her go.
Right. And you and I have we've wondered about that since the Philip Kennedy Johnson run. How is he going to react when he no longer has her?
Which is something that I don't think he truly dealt with the first time around when she actually passed. So this is
because he really didn't need to. She was, in an essence, in a way, she was there. She was still talking and communicating. At least a version of her in the ring.
And again, what I like about these kind of emotions is that you can bake it into a sci-fi story, but everybody goes through the emotions of losing somebody and having to deal with that and make sort of peace with that. And so, again, fantastical situations, but at the core, we've all had to go through that kind of stuff. And I wish to God people didn't have to go through having abusive parents, but some people have. And, maybe seeing one of their heroes have to deal with it and confront it can help those people as well.
Well, and Guy deals with this in an upcoming issue. He deals with the fact that he looks at his past and says, "I could change that, but that made me part of who I am. It made him part of the hero he is." As difficult as that was, DC even put, I don't know if you noticed, there was a disclaimer on that issue, and it was like,
and it's funny because I was reading it, I'm like, I've never seen that before. What's going on in this issue?
Yeah. So also in this issue, John is able to expel Parallax, and Saronic Natu, who had gone back and gotten a yellow ring, she's able to capture Parallax. But at the end of this issue, the Manhunters take control of Aya's body. And so there's no surcease here. They go from one attack to another attack, and things just keep getting more difficult.
No rest for members of the Green Lantern Corps. So I guess that brings us to a close of the first 3 issues.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll do now is we'll take a quick break, and then on the other side of the break, we'll come back and talk about the final 3 issues. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere.
What's up, everyone? It's the Emerald Enthusiast. For all of your multiverse viewing and listening needs, check out our shows, which include Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Power Rangers, the Marvel Universe, and the DC Universe, including the Emerald Echo podcast. You can check us out on Podbean, and remember to subscribe right here on YouTube. That's the Multiverse Musings Podcast Network. From the first podcast to the last.
And we're back.
Indeed we are. And we've got issues 16, 17, and 18 still to go. So let's get right into it, Donnie.
So now what the Green Lanterns and their allies are confronting are an army of Aya Manhunters. And I thought about calling them the Aya Hunters, but then it sounds like they're all hunting Aya. Actually, it's Aya has become infused with the Manhunter's essence, and they change themselves to all look like Aya. She's disembodied at this point, the actual Aya, but she's being used by the Manhunters. Right. And there's this massive army now, so the Green Lanterns are once again confronting the Manhunters. And did you ever think that we would see characters from the animated series and classic Green Lantern villains fused as one?
Never.
And that's what I'm digging about this series so much.
And I'm so glad Aya's gotten a second lease on life beyond the animated series.
I think a lot of people really wanted to see her. By the way, Morgan Hampton was like, yeah, I was in high school when that series was on. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I was almost 40 when that series was on.
How long ago was that series? I can't remember.
2012. Yeah, I think he's in like his early or mid 30s, something like that. But I was like,
we're looking at 14 years ago.
Yeah, 14 years. Yeah.
So I was 28. Oh Jesus. Well, I'm old. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm happy for him. He's achieved a lot by his 30s. So I mean,
I'm just
obviously a bit, a writer for a big time publisher. So good for you, Morgan Hampton.
Good for him. It's great, but it's just, boy, does that make me feel old.
Yeah. So in this issue as well, the entities are trying to find hosts, and Ophidian, the greed entity, is out to control Effigy.
Right, because he's had enough of Larfleeze.
Right. And so we actually see that, and we see this Ophidian controlled version of Effigy fighting with the Manhunters.
That was pretty cool.
It was the art is the some of the art in this is just incredible.
Effigy looks pretty cool. He's got a Ghost Rider vibe to him.
I've always liked Effigy, and I'm so glad that he's back. I mean, he was kind of left in Volume 3 there. I don't know if he made some appearance, after Volume 3 at some point. Probably did, and some minor appearance somewhere. But now that he's back and being part of a major story, I just dig it so much.
Yeah, but do you get the Ghost Rider vibe from his look?
Oh, yeah, because he has, like the burning head.
Yeah.
Also, at the end of this issue, Oa's sun explodes.
Well, never a good idea.
And that's a bad time. That's
never
a bad
a good
time
outcome,
too.
I should say. Yeah.
So the pace of these issues is very fast.
Yeah, they're very fast paced. Lots of action in the midst of all the emotional stuff going on.
Yeah, if this is not, when we talk about all of the emotion and the reflecting on things, that doesn't mean that there's not an absurd amount of action in these.
Like a sun is exploding. There's a lot of action happening, people.
Yeah, and there's an army of Aya Manhunters attacking. I mean, there's plenty of action too.
Yeah.
So, issue number 17, and we just talked about this. Guy starts out by seeing every memory at once. Again, he's been sucked through the black hole, and he is seeing every memory at once and also every possible future.
Right.
And this is what Adam mentioned earlier. When he's pulled into this black hole, he also meets an old version of himself. So we've had Old Man Logan before, and now we have Old Man Lantern.
Yeah, Old Man
I would
Guy.
love to see. I would love to see a mini series just based on that version of Guy.
They should just call it Old Guy.
Old Guy. There you go. Good. I like that. Even better.
And you can have Nathan Fillion do it.
Hey,
I would love to see a scene of young Nathan. Well, youngish Nathan Fillion.
Right.
Playing, the current age Guy Gardner, and then put old age makeup on him, and then give him half a bald cap, and let him have a conversation and a fight with himself.
That's beautiful. Just
That'd
old
be
guy.
great.
I like
like
it.
James,
I like it.
Like James Gunn, can this be like a 5-issue or 5-episode miniseries on HBO? It would be fantastic.
Yeah, and I love the interplay between the two of them, of Guy, the old version, again, having understanding of his younger self and compassion on his younger self and understanding all the challenges he went through, including an abusive father, to be the person that he was. It was really cool to see Guy get that support and reassurance.
Yeah.
And the old version of Guy is hosting Ion, and he passes that version to the younger version of Guy in the emotional expanse.
It was a little bit confusing, in the
Very
sense, like where he's talking about, if you, if you complete this mission, I won't exist. Like that stuff was confusing. Like the full circle and kind of thing of it all, but I eventually got through it.
Right. Well, we see that a lot with any kind of wonky time travel type of thing. There's always kind of, contradictions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the emotional expanse, and eventually this issue ends with Guy kind of hosting all of the entities, calling them all to him. And again, it was like I was saying with Kyle and the White Lantern back in New Guardians, kind of, the being the host for all of these emotions.
Yeah, it was, again, the idea, like one of the things that kind of, amidst all that craziness with, like the emotional, like the abusiveness of his father and all that, the one thing that kind of made me chuckle was when Guy realized, I figured it out, and how happy he was that he figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, and this is, I think Morgan Hampton, despite the fact that he's taking Guy in a new direction here, he does understand his history. I think the guy has done it. When I say the guy, I mean Morgan Hampton. He's done his homework. Yeah. He's done his homework to know these characters well.
Yeah, he does have a good handle on them for sure.
So, issue number 18. The Green Lantern Corps and their many allies, including Sinestro and Larfleeze, they fight against this massive army of Aya Manhunters. That was probably my favorite image from this issue, was that huge army behind her. That like full page spread of the Aya Manhunters.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was great.
That had to take forever to draw.
That must have been so taxing on the artist, but it came out great.
And so this issue centers around the battle between these two factions and what the Lanterns do here. And again, this is kind of keeping in what we saw with what we have seen with these different emotional cores existing on Oa. This time, they all form a Voltron-like or a Devastator-like mech that actually has the head of
Joe.
It
was very Voltron, kind of like Power Rangers, like a Megazord kind of deal.
I'm a little older than you, so it reminded me of Devastator. And
I thought of a Megazord. I'm like, Power Rangers!
But
I understood that reference. I was Captain America for about 5 seconds.
But it looks like Joe. It has the glasses and her hairdo. And so it's all of these emotions together, making this giant mech construct to fight against the army of Aya Manhunters. That just looked really cool. And it's funny on the Lanterns Live, they were talking about how cool, like it would make a cool Build-A-Figure. Like if you got the different parts.
I knew you were thinking figures the minute it had, yeah.
How dare you say something that's obviously true? Anyway.
Don't tell me you're offended, because you know the minute you saw it, I'm like, I'd buy an action figure of that.
So, but this issue, it ends with the Manhunters. They've actually taken, in the very last image, they've taken a prisoner, and what they want is Guy to turn over the emotional entities to them. Now that he has control, they want the emotional entities.
Yeah. Again, I'm just... The shocking thing for me is that the entities all agree. Like, I mean, they put him through his paces, but they all agreed to, yeah, we'll unify under Guy. Like, of all the lanterns that you think they unify under, it ends up being Guy. That's pretty,
Well, Guy
unexpected.
he's going through a lot of maturity.
He really has a lot of character growth. A lot of character growth.
Yes. And again, we're not just talking about this run. Before this as well, he's not the jerk who tried to kill Hal Jordan and spike the water supply all the way back in the first run of Green Lantern Corps. He's not that guy anymore. And yeah, so now we have all of these entities working with Guy and him being the host and controlling all of them, but the Manhunters want the entities.
Yeah, which is, I mean, what I got from all that was the Manhunters want their original job back.
That's kind of always been their goal, and if they would control the entities, they would control the Green Lantern's power source, as well as the power sources of the other corps, and so they would be ascendant if they managed to control the entities.
Yeah. But again, there's a reason that they were let go, so... So, I mean, they weren't that great at I mean, look, the Guardians have issues, but...
This is back before the Guardians were like, evil little twerps.
Right, but for them to say, okay, the Manhunters aren't good enough, that's not a ringing endorsement on your job capabilities, So it's pretty funny seeing those guys. Oh yeah, we could do a better job than these emotional beings.
Yeah. Well, and it made me think about Volume 3 when the Manhunters captured Kyle Rayner, and they tricked his ring into thinking that he was still wearing it, and they were going to try to use it, but they couldn't because they're not living beings.
Yeah.
They couldn't use his ring, and he still could because he was still connected to it because he is a living sentient being. But if they control the entities, if that's the end goal, if they control emotions, then they could possibly use those power sources or negate those power sources and leave the Green Lanterns and the other corps powerless.
Say that again, you cut out a bit there.
Like I said, if they controlled all of the entities, then they could either override their rings, their weapons, and finally be able to use them, or they could negate them and cut them out altogether and leave all of these corps and all of these beings powerless.
You're talking about the Manhunters.
Yes.
Okay. I was getting a little bit lost in the who are we talking about now? Because we just talked about the Guardians.
Yeah.
And then
there's such an ensemble of characters here.
I'm like, where the hell are we? Who are we talking about here? Just like the thing to me that really sort of, again, this issue really hits home for me is the fact that how well they balance, as we talked about, the emotion, the action, but again, all these characters, and I feel like,
if you want an example, just look at this cover.
Right, no, but what I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Look at all of these characters. By the way, this is a beautiful cover.
But I feel like for example, this issue, right? Like, Guy gets time in the spotlight.
Right.
The
John gets time. Katma
John
gets
gets
time.
The entities get time in the spotlight. Aya gets time. The Manhunters, get some emotion for as much emotion as robots can have. Like everybody gets quote unquote screen time, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Page time.
Right.
Panel time.
And it feels like nobody feels short. None of these characters felt shortchanged to me. So that's a real big, compliment to the writer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I mean, Morgan Hampton has set up a lot of different storylines here, and so far they've been very satisfactory as the way that they've come to an end. Hopefully that continues.
I gotta be honest with you. I love this book. I just love, what I love the most about it is the wider look at the Lantern, for lack of a better phrase, the Lantern Corps we're getting. It's not just two characters, or it's not just the Earth characters, right?
Right.
And that's why I love this book. And even when this book was gone, you and I always advocated for it, right? Like, we had said, okay, maybe 5 or 6 Green Lantern books is, you could make an argument for it to be too many. I wouldn't argue, but you could make that argument and I'd be like, all right, I can see your point, right? It's like when somebody tells me, well, why would you want to watch, a movie in Matt Reeves' Batverse and the DCU Batman in the same year? And in my head, I'm like, why wouldn't I? That's like asking me if I want to go to dinner with Margot Robbie and Sydney Sweeney at the same time. Of course I do.
What's wrong with the smorgasbord? Not a thing.
Yeah, like, hello? Give me all the Batman. Give me all the Green Lantern. Give me all the multiverse wives I have all for dinner. You give it, like, I'm like Larfleeze. In this situation, I'm kind of like Larfleeze. I want it all. It's all mine, mine.
It's like asking, do you want a McKenna jersey or a Tavares jersey? Why not both?
Yeah. And I want them both to score lots of points.
Exactly. We're sorry that we got sidetracked on hockey, folks. We're very excited.
And multiple wives and everything else. But anyway, I'm loving this book. This book is great, and I feel sorry for the people that can't get behind it because it doesn't have their favorite Lantern. Like, if that's your hang up, get over it. Like, just stop.
Well, it's like I've told you so many times in the past. I look at the Green Lantern mythos now as a group and ensemble, kind of like a team book. And yes, that doesn't mean that you can't break one off and tell a good story just about one of them, but they all kind of come back to one another. They're playing off of one another and developing because of one another.
Yeah, it really is. Like, we're seeing certain characters with defined roles, like, Jessica Cruz is kind of like the leader of the Corps.
Yeah, she is the Corps leader right now. And there was some friction between her and Guy as to how to go forward. We
have Guy as the all-sight, right?
Right.
But I mean,
in this version of John, remember, this was not the original version that started
this is a
in this
different
run.
John.
Now, he's coming back trying to assimilate as well as Kat Matui, and now we've got Saronic back in the mix.
But for example, even though like those two, Guy and Jessica have really distinct, defined roles. This is a team book. Like, it very much is a team book. Like, those two aren't the star. And everybody else just falls in line and has, glorified cameo appearances every issue. Like, we're seeing Saronic has a role, all the people, John, all the, Kat Matui. So, I mean, it's an Astro. I mean, this is really the definition of a team book.
Yeah, like I said, it's working very well at this point. I don't have a lot of criticisms. I mean, there are times that I thought that some of the panels were a little too small because I felt like the event that was happening deserved a bigger panel to like give it more emphasis. But that's such a small criticism.
Yeah, yeah.
And plus, there's also some backup stories in this, which probably condensed, the creativity.
Well, there's previews really more.
Yeah,
previews
yeah. So, which has got to be difficult, for an artist as well as a writer to have a certain ending point, and then they say, "Oh, by the way, you've got 4 less pages or whatever." Well, that's got to make them feel kind of claustrophobic.
Yeah, it must be a little bit of a pain. But they're still doing a fantastic job, and like I said, I'm loving both of those Green Lantern books. The Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps. And from what I have caught up. I have read. I'm not caught up, but from what we had left off on Absolute Green Lantern, I'm enjoying that book as well. Right now, I'm enjoying all the books. Should we rate these ones as a whole? I guess we're doing all.
Yeah, just as a whole.
Honestly, for all 6 of them, I'm gonna say. People are going to call me a homer, but I like them all.
I'm going to give the writing a 5 and the art a 4.5.
I'm going to give it a 5 for the writing. 5 for the writing. And 4.5 for the art. I mean, I generally... I love the balance between character introspective, emotion, action. Like, it was all equally balanced. It was all fun. And then...
now, Mattel, if anybody from Mattel, and I know that there's probably like the 10 people who are going to watch this, anybody from Mattel, I need my All-Sight Guy Gardner figure. Just saying.
I want the 2-pack, the young one and the old one.
I'd be fine with the old man guy too, sure.
Give us a 2-pack, come on, or McFarlane's run out of the license. Too late, McFarlane. It could have been good, but anyway.
They get the 4-con exclusives though of Green Lantern figures.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And apparently I saw one of their last listings.
Actually 5 now that I think about it.
One of their last listings has the 90s Flash, the John Wesley Shipp, which I want to pick up because, listen, to me that's still my favorite live action Flash. And I know, there was one that...
I have that on DVD. So
I'm sorry, there was one that wasn't in the running, pun intended. Your movie was great because there were 2 Batmen in it. One was the great part. The other one had probably his best moments as Batman that he had in 3 films that he did. Mm-hmm. And then that person that played Flash in that movie did have some good scenes with the character's mother, so I'll give him that. But everything else of him left a lot to be desired. Grant Gustin was great and cool, but Iris saying "We are the Flash" still leaves a really bad taste in my mouth.
By the way, folks, I have to hear about this all the time.
So, Grant Gustin was great. I loved him. But every time Iris says, or just because of that 1 or 2 times that Iris said, "We are the Flash," it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Which, unfortunately for Donnie, he has to still hear about this years after the fact, but I can't let it go.
I can't fault you too much. My wife does not like to hear, because she does not like to hear me rant about Topher Grace's Venom because I've been doing it for 19 years. So
right. But John Wesley Shipp, that was, man. He had the suit, the great suit. He had the great theme. So I want to get that figure. And McFarlane also has, apparently, according to this listing, Val Kilmer, Batman Forever, the Panther suit, which I've always wanted.
Okay.
So if I can get my hands on that before he bows out of the license, you can bet I'm going to get it. But, regardless of all that, it's a great time to be a Lantern fan, both on the publishing side and from our point of view, on the live action side, and soon to be the animation side as well. So if you're a fan of Green Lantern as an IP and not just one particular character, join us on the ride that is gearing up. It's been fun to this point, and I think the fun is only going to get more enjoyable and more voluminous. Is it voluminous? Is that a word?
Voluminous.
Voluminous. Yeah.
Yes.
Listen. All I know is what did I say I was the other day?
What did you say? Which thing are you talking about?
I'm a leaf theologist. That's what and it is a word, but that's a whole other podcast for another time. I'll go into that on the Leaf podcast. But Donnie, if people want to talk to us about Green Lantern, where can they find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky, Facebook. You can find me on TikTok or YouTube as the Emerald Enthusiast. Let's talk comics. Let's talk collectibles. Let's talk Green Lantern.
I'm at Adam_leaffan on Twitter, on Blue Sky, I guess I'm on Instagram too. That's not the handle. I'll put one of them in. I don't know which one. I'll just flip a coin like Two-Face and figure out which one I'm going to put in there. But you'll find one in the description below. I'll put Donnie's Blue Sky handle. We have a Facebook group. I'll also put that in the description. If you want to talk on Facebook, we can. Click the link. I will add you to the group if you so choose. But until next time, and probably the next time we do this, we're going to be talking, I guess, episode 1 of Lanterns, maybe. But until next time, remember that the Green Lantern Corps is forever. From the first issue we had to catch up on to the last. So long, everybody.
So long, everyone.